and sort of continues to sell those things from there, but it doesn't necessarily have to be handle any of the action, other than we would like to be able to let to allow online access to certain areas, to members, but those members could be declared members or not by a member services rep rather than an NAEF rep, rather than in a very automated way.
So I think, what I heard you say was did I hear you say you don't necessarily want to use the product for invoicing and for dues renewals?
That is certainly an option, and as far as as far as getting going quickly, that would be fine. We would much rather get going quickly than than get hung up on we have to get that exactly right. And especially,
go ahead.
Well,
I was just going to say, my only concern with that is if we don't have a due structure, and we have to import your members, because that is that's where we're going to be sending letters from, using our contact center to make those contacts, to send out those emails basically from the system. So we have to have the database imported. That's the trickiest part. Creating the member types and the pricing behind the member types is actually not very tricky once we can understand what your due structure looks like. So that's where I'm just looking for specifics on exactly what the breakdown is of how much you're charging individuals and what you're charging them for, because then I can better understand what the entire setup of the product needs to look like. You know what I mean?
Okay. So let me just sort of looking at invoices from a recent year, and this is one that yeah, I think this is one that has as much as it can have, and so it has a 401A, a 401K, and a 457B, and the one member has all three of those, and so the two 401 programs, the A and K, are each $750, and the 457B is $450, for a total of $1950. So we see that as sort of one member who participates in those three programs. So far we've been doing the annual dues as a new item, just so it says 2018 or 2017 or whatever. But that's one of those things that it isn't the right way to do it. The right way would be for the item or the attribute or whatever to have a start date and a term, or that I would consider that to be the ideal. But a start date and an expire date would be okay, or so I didn't, I was poking around in the database, and I guess I didn't quite get to. Well, let's see. I get, I see attributes, but I still haven't quite gotten my hand around my mind around, what all the fields you can use in an attribute are. It.
So what I'm thinking is, so it sounds like the pricing that I had previously set up in here is correct. So 401A and 401K being at $750, 457B, 457F being at $450, and from what I remember, 457F also being at $450. From what I remember, the individual can basically choose one of the 401 options, which would be retirement options, either the 401A, 401K, or I guess 401K safe harbor being $750. They could just choose to select a benefit option being a 457B or a 457F. I think from what I understand, they could also choose multiple benefit options. So if they wanted, they could purchase the 457B and 457F combo. Does that sound correct so far?
Well, let's see. I don't think I don't think there are any areas where there a combo of the retirement programs is necessarily essential. There are certainly places that have several of the plans that or like the three. I don't know that there are any associations that have all four, but I'm not sure that there's a reason that could never happen. The benefits plans are that's in the category of things we'd like to be able to tag the members with, but they are kind of like they might be like a special interest group that has no cost, but you'd like to know that the member was interested in whatever that is. We might at some point there might be some marketing based on what they had and didn't have, but the updating of those is going to be its own thing, because the members the members renew that by renewing their program, by renewing the insurance program for one or more staff members, and so that's what creates the renewal through the agency, and so we can record that, but we can't we're not going to get that as an immediate automated way, and we're not going to bill them for the fact that they have that or don't have that. So mostly we should not worry, I think, about the individual benefits plans, except that we would probably like to be able to set up attributes so that we could tag the members that have them with those things, at least and especially if we can, if we develop a plan to use that. But we don't have that plan right now. Right now, pretty much everybody is going to get the same general, the same generic kind of email newsletters. Save more money for your retirement. Would you like to add, various benefits programs that can protect your employees in the event of this kind of event.
Okay. Okay. So I'm hearing a couple of things that I might say back to you, and you can tell me if I heard it right or wrong. I think one of the important things that I pulled out from that was that it's important to have attributes describing your members in terms of whether, in terms of what benefit package or retirement package that they might be purchasing, while though it's not necessarily important to use that information to create the invoice. It's kind of just more important so that you can have these tags to search by in the product and then maybe eventually email based on.
Yes, that's true, and and there and there may be, well, we do want to have some members who have access to certain member only resources that that other members would not get, that other people in the database would not get, that we or many of them would be prospects more than real active members.
How many paying members do you have today?
Well, if you the ones that pay that pay an invoice to NAEF, it's only about 70 some.
And so the only way that they're paying you guys right now is you basically just talk with them, determine what they need, and then create the invoice manually and send it to them manually. Is that right?
Well, yeah, using the QuickBooks email to email option. So,
and you do want to move forward with doing it that way?
Well, that's fine, and that works, and it's everybody's annual renewal, and so pretty much it can continue that way, and that's fine. It if the QuickBooks, or if MemberClicks produces a better way to do that, we might migrate it to MemberClicks, and we might especially do that if we figured some kind of low cost of entry that people might want to do for themselves immediately, and they could do a credit card or whatever and get going, and get access to some resource that they might want. But we don't have a plan for that right now, so that's not something that we need to set up right now. We don't know what it would look like.
You don't know what them paying with a credit card would look like?
No, well, we don't know what the offer would look like that they would pay for. We don't have a say a $50 analysis report that we might try to get people to buy, and for some quick membership. We don't have one of those right now, so so let's not get hung up on that.
So okay, that's fine, but so as of right now, it is safe to say if I came and purchased a 401k, I would be paying $750. If I came in and purchased a 401a, I would be paying $750. If I was purchasing a 457b or a 457f, it would be $450. I do have is that right?
Yeah.
And I do have the ability to buy any, in addition to any different type of pairing of any of those. So if you threw them in a hat, I could pick any of them out at any given time and pay for them.
Yes. And again, you could you could pay for them, but well, but we're not really going to bill you for them until there's been a process to get your organization going with that program. And so, that's not something that it's not something that you're going to be able to do, to fill out a form and decide to do. We're gonna get an inquiry form from you that says, I've got 12 employees, and we'd like to do this kind of program, or something, and then we'll talk further about what how to make that work.
So if I worked for a company that had 500 employees, and if I worked for a company that had 50 employees, and I wanted to purchase a 401k for my company, I would always pay $750. It doesn't matter the varying number of employees.
Yeah, that's the current pricing. Yes.
Okay.
Now that of course, prices need to be able to be changed as circumstances warrant, and I'm sure that's not difficult.
No, not at all, not at all. Okay, so then my next question is, you would like to be able to search by some of these tags. So the next stage of this is actually getting down to, what do you want your member types to look like? Now, the last time Jill and I talked, she said she wanted a benefits organization, a retirement, and a retirement and benefits. So there would be 3 member types, which is what that chart was showing you that I had. Is that right?
Well, it is and it isn't. We would prefer to think in terms of these things as as products, like you can be a member of the national organization, you can be a member of the local organization, and you can also be a member of this special interest group that's part of the organization. You can be a doctor and also a cardiologist, and also a doctor in Maryland, or whatever those little groups are. And you get billed for the ones that you're participating in, and not for but there's no you're buying it's kind of like you're buying 3 different memberships, but they're all sort of or it's one membership and then a couple of add-on options. Although it's you could have bought any of the 3 or all of the 3, and am I making sense?
I think I don't know.
We're still at the there are people, there are organizations, and there are products or
Mm-hmm.
offerings, and as NAEF is structured now, only an organization can be a member, can be a plan sponsor, and only plan sponsors can be members. So the members are all organizations, but each organization could have multiple members associated with it. As we're structured right now, they're typically going to be like the administrator and the person who pays the bills, but there might be a couple others on there, the CEO or the or somebody else, or assistants and whatnot. But so still going back to the question of why member clicks, and where did I think the answer to that was Jill had a wonderful time talking with somebody at ASAE a year ago, and got started down the road. And the email stuff looks pretty good, and building some and that's the kind of thing that we do want to do. Jill and her board were pretty we're fine with the money. So if we can kind of build the site and get going, we might have something.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I think I will do, what I think will be What I think I will do is create a custom attribute. Tell me if you think this will work for what you need. I'm going to create a custom attribute that will say 401k or 401 options. And the options will be 401k, 401a. They can choose one, they can choose, they can choose A, they can choose K, they could choose both. I'll have another option that'll say 457 options. They can choose 457B, they could choose 457F, or they could choose both. Those attributes can communicate with the profile and be saved in the member's profile so that they'll be searchable, and you can send emails, newsletters off of them, run reports if you need to.
Well, I'm just wondering. Again, I'm sort of thinking, organizations and products, and so, in my mind, why wouldn't we why wouldn't we set up 4 attributes, and you can grab any one of those attributes that you want, or all 4, is there a reason not to do that?
So you're saying have like a 401k, yes or no? Purchasing 401k, yes, no. Purchasing 401a, yes or no?
But again, that's not the way I like to think about these things, because that's sort of okay, but it does. I'm sort of a product kind of guy, like QuickBooks. You could have 10,000 SKUs, and you search for the one you want, and you add it or not, rather than you don't necessarily go down the whole list of them. And I assume that
there's not really a way. You'd have to have something that you're adding. So there's not really, there's not really a way to pull it from somewhere. You would have to say, yes, I want this, or no, I don't want this. You can't, there's not any place to like grab it and say I want this. The yes or no option, we could do it by numbers and say I want one of these, but that makes less sense to me, I suppose, than a yes or no. I don't know the difference of what I'm saying and the difference of what you're saying. I'm not sure of the difference between the two.
Well, what happens when somebody wants to sell a T-shirt or something? Do they do that within MemberClicks?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually just set somebody up whose association is based on selling radiators. There's a picture of a radiator, and then there's a description, and then it says, how many radiators would you like to purchase? And they would type in the number 1 or 2 or 5 or however many they want to buy.
Okay. So, but the radiator is an attribute, right?
It's not, actually.
What is it?
it's just a field on a form that would make an invoice due to money being associated. It's not being connected back to the profile. In that case, it's just a field.
Uh-huh. I mean, so if it's a field in every. It's a field on the form, or and does it? If you wanted to search and see who bought these, who bought more than 5 radiators last year, would that happen with that way?
You wouldn't, because it is just a field. It would have to have been an attribute, which we could create an attribute, but because he's selling like 70 different types of, radiators, that means you'd have to have 70 different types of attributes, which wouldn't work. So similarly, though, if you wanted to make these items, 4 separate attributes, that's fine if you want to do it that way. But then when you're getting ready to purchase them, you're still going to have 2 options, either a yes or no. I want the 401k, yes or no. Or you would have to have a place to type in how many you want to purchase, which, like I said, makes less sense to me for what you guys are doing, because nobody would buy 5 401ks. The obvious option is that they would purchase 1.
Right. There are no. So not that there couldn't be something that would get multiple quantities, but yeah, that's so what happens with the events and that have registration fees? That's another thing that I couldn't quite see what happens. You put an event on the calendar, and that's the thing, right?
So you can add an event to a calendar, but you can also create a registration form, and that registration form can also create an invoice based on how much the registration fee is.
Okay, and so the registration form you would create as a form, and would that produce a list of people for the event?
It could, yes.
By the way, I don't know if I ever have to mention this. My deepest experience with a membership management system was with City CRM, the open source system.
Mm-hmm.
So and I did almost sort of take that and load a 40,000 member list into, but I had some consulting help, but so I am a little baffled that events aren't more developed, and and there's not really a product option. I was sort of hearing that the idea that attributes could be done as product, but it's.
I think you're getting caught up on the attribute part. So right. There are some really important, crucial pieces of the product that are used in different ways. A form can very much so just be a list of products that somebody is selling. So another example that I had recently was publications. So on the form, he used fields. These are not attributes. They are just form fields. Gave a picture of the publication, a description of the publication, and then there was a bar on the form that said, I would like to buy however many numbers of publications times the price of the publication, $12.95. So if you did, okay, I want 10 publications, 10 times $12.95. would give you the total on the invoice. That is very much so a product that is being sold via a form. That is something that I have personally done with a lot of associations. So then you're getting caught up on this attribute bit. If you want something to be held in somebody's profile, it has to be an attribute, because an attribute is a descriptor of a member. So if you want to be able to sell a product, then you can use a form field, and that's totally fine. That is a product. If you want something that you can search on and something that you can create reports and list for mailing, that has to be typically an attribute. So if you're searching by this attribute, it can be a product, right? It could be a product. That's no problem because they kind of go hand in hand. But we could do products, but the point is you're not searching. You can't, I don't know of any systems where you can go and say, any association management systems where you can go and say, okay, for this specific, if somebody bought this publication, how many people ordered this publication? That's not necessarily an association management system. It would be more of a shopping cart.
Well, yeah, and of course sometimes there is the whole shopping cart attached to get to get a real mini product option. That's true.
So we can definitely incorporate both pieces, but that does mean that we would need to make form fields we would need to make them into attributes, and that's not doing anything weird or crazy or out of the normal. That's just, if you want to be able to search by products, then they have to be attributes, because at that point you're giving a descriptor to the member's profile. If you're wanting to search on a member's profile based on that piece of information, then you need to use that piece of information to describe the member, and that's an attribute. You see where I'm going?
Yeah. I do. Sort of. I just certainly just it need to wade deeper, I think. Okay. But yeah, I think
it sounds like, and this is where my concern comes in, is we can absolutely move forward and just be an email system and a reporting system and a website for you guys. We can absolutely be that. The only thing is in QuickBooks, you're over here making invoices based on what people are buying, and you want that information to be able to be searchable in MemberClicks. Well, if you were using MemberClicks to create your renewals, to create invoices and dues, then those items would go hand in hand. They would talk to one another. So if somebody purchased a 401k, in their profile, it's going to show you that they purchased a 401k. You can search by it. So that's great. But if you want to keep them separate, if you want to do billing in QuickBooks and then the attribute searching in MemberClicks, they're not going to talk together in that way. They can talk together, but they don't talk together in that way. And so then you're either going to have to go into MemberClicks also and mark off what that member purchased, or not have the ability to search based on what they purchased.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that we do get back to wanting for attributes at this point, and I am still.
So wanting to do 4 attributes and then putting that in a form where they can pick and choose what they want to purchase, which products they want to purchase.
Yes, that we would do a. But now, again, the way this would work right now is, those forms would be done by the would be done back end, not by the prospective member. We're not going to build a form that's publicly open that offers people the opportunity to generate a bill for all these things. They're not going to get that far. They're not going to get that deep into the system until they've been contacted and somebody has said, yeah, we're really going to set up a plan for you.
Okay, and so do you want to take advantage of automated notifications for renewals?
I think that we might. That the answer to that is yes, we would like to be able to do that. If we so yes, we would like to be able to try to renew them for whatever things they had the previous year. I think we would not want to give them a either a drop or add option. But yes, assuming they're just renewing.
So Jill had made mention previously that they can change what they're purchasing each year. I remember her saying that. Is that correct?
If it does happen, I don't think we would want to let the members decide to do that without talking with us. I don't think we want to let them self-serve on that.
Okay. So I think that that's doable. When you're bringing these members into the system, I will need you to include their previous product purchase,
right.
Whether they purchased the 401k, the 401a, the 457b, or the 457f.
Right.
Is that something you can include in the database you send me?
Yes. Yeah, and I think we did on the one before, but we'll update that with where they are now.
Okay. And so, and how quickly do you guys feel you'll be able to get that database to me?
Well, the only challenge is getting the benefit small piece of it, and if so I'll if I don't hear from him by tomorrow morning, I'll ping him and see what he's got. But I would think it would be a few days. And then, and then we'll want to merge it with the others because there are a lot of a whole bunch of them are duplicated. They're the same. A whole bunch of the retirement people also have benefits, and so anyway. But we're not going to tag any of the retirement people are the benefits people are just going to be prospects in this model for now, because we don't bill them for benefits. The benefits get taken care of when they pay for the products that they're buying, the benefits products they're buying. So
wouldn't you want them to be in a benefits member type so you could search for who's purchasing benefits?
Well, I think we're going to stay away from that for the time being. That would certainly be a fifth attribute. That and then if we tried to list each of the possible benefits that are under there, because there are 13 or 14, and of course more could be developed, different programs under that, and so if we could have 10,000 SKUs, this would be fine, but if we're going to have a yes or no on all of these on every member, we're not going to list all the different benefits types.
In your dream world, how would you envision that looking? Can you send me an example?
I would envision it looking something like, a shopping cart system that where there could 10,000, there could be more SKUs that would be available and could be created if you wanted them. And we're not going to do that for this little group, but I from a product standpoint, I just I sort of see no limit as a thing.
Okay. So then moving forward, you guys are gonna send me the database, and it sounds like I'll probably just be creating one member type just called organization and then linked contact. And then brought over by the information that you guys provide to me, I'll be able to fill in whether they had previously purchased a 401A, a 401K, a 457B, or a 457F. And that will auto-populate. I can then use that data, or you guys can use that data to pull search results and contact emails. You can continue to work on the website. And if you want to move forward with using that, we can create a renewal application, which the member will have to utilize in order to renew. Or we can just bill them based on the same amount that they had paid the previous year, assuming that they're paying the same amount, and put like some verbiage saying, if this is not what you wish to pay, please contact Jill or Jeff at soandso.com. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes. I think that's what we're thinking, and I do assume that we can modify those forms as we see fit to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then the last piece of this is the website. So I am not sure, what are you guys wanting to see in your that you are not seeing in it today?
Well, of course, the big thing is articles that haven't been created yet. But I think that I'm trying to think of where there it is. Visit my site. Okay. I think that I think Jill is sort of getting a little hung up on just the look of it right now, and we've got kind of a column that just some layout that needs to be policed up a little bit, but that's I think those are mostly going to become things that we need to develop our skills at and to make neat. There were some were some pictures that were talked about but aren't currently into. I guess there's right now a little bit of a slideshow that has just the dummy things there. So I think that the content pieces of this are we'll need some content attention from Jill and me. But I'm not entirely sure what of the stuff that's there now is going to stay and whatnot. But I think we'll probably be able to look at a fair amount of that ourselves.
Okay, so I can send you in my follow-up maybe the content training video. I think I'm just going to go ahead and send you kind of all the training videos. And I would suggest that you guys go ahead and give those a look over, because I think it'll give you more insight on what the system can do. So I think that would be nothing but beneficial. And I do want to go ahead and put a date on the calendar as to when I will receive your completed database, so that we can move forward and making sure that we're kind of paying attention to some upcoming deadlines. So when do you think that would be?
So why don't we say Tuesday for that?
You think you'll have the whole database to me by Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to put that on my calendar, and so it'll take me about 7 to 10 business days to get that imported. Once I've received it.
Okay.
So, and I am going to be at a conference. I don't know if you guys are going to MC Live, but I'll be at MC Live the following week.
We're not planning to go. We were.
So maybe the week you want to schedule an hour to discuss a review of everything on Monday the 15th.
Okay.
And I can pretty much do any time that's best for you.
Let's go for 9 a.m. That works.
9 a.m. And you guys are in New York, is that right?
Well, we're in the DC area.
Oh, DC, okay. 9 a.m. will be perfect. I'm going to put us down to use this as a day for review. Awesome, and I'll keep my eye out for your database. I'll let you know if I have any questions on it once you send it over. And other than that, I just appreciate your time so much this afternoon. I really am thankful that we got to connect finally, and since we've got this date on the calendar for me to receive your database and to have a follow-up call, I think we should be moving along. We should be doing pretty well, and I you know, moving forward with what we've discussed, I think I've got a pretty clear insight on what you're looking for. So please let me know if you have any questions between now and then. Otherwise, thank you so much, and I appreciate you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Adrienne.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye.